Hey guys, it's Skybird, and I've got 5 things to talk about in this video, including my very first submission to LEGO Ideas. So I'm very excited for that. How to attach Generation 2 masks to your Bionicle sets, more specifically the McDonald's Matoran sets. Also going to give a little update on the Sandstorm vehicle that I introduced yesterday, because I'm absolutely in love with where it's at right now. Gonna chat a little bit about the interview yesterday with Pokora Morgan, or Morgan Ryan Art, which was an absolute blast. We literally could have done it for hours. And going to talk lastly about YouTube and sort of something that I've learned that might help you if you are on your own YouTube journey. So if you are a small creator like I am, stay tuned for that, but I'm going to keep that one off to the end. I know it's what you're not all here for. So let's start out with the big news. I have submitted something officially to LEGO Ideas, and I'm really happy about it. It is, well, without further ado, the Atlantic Ghost Crab and Carolina Green Anole. And right off the bat, I don't live near the Atlantic. I've never seen these creatures. I live criminally far away from any crab. And so this is a really fun build here. This is not the first Lego Technic animal submission that I have seen, but this is the first that I have done, and the first that I have done where it actually has a set of functions. It is essentially a real life creature, or a creature based on a real life animal, but built out of Technic around a functional base. In both cases here, when I was originally designing this, it was originally just going to be the crab, but I figured giving it something to stand out, something to chase, sort of a conflict in a box type of build, was honestly the perfect way to go for it. So the crab build here, which we're going to take a look at in studio as well, and it looks just like this. Let me pop that other one off of the screen here, is honestly something special. I'm so excited with how it looks. Yes, there are a lot of things that would have to be recolored for this if you wanted it to be like truly accurate, but I think this is something that Lego would make recolors for, right? This is in some ways bringing awareness to the types of creatures that we share this world with, whether they're endangered or not. I think sometimes we tend to overlook, even the common animals around us, just because they're not in our everyday lives, right? And meanwhile, this also has just a tremendous function here, which you guys may have seen if you watched my handling G3 Rahi video. That's not the title of it, but you get the idea. And it is this build right here, right? So you have a wheel that eventually turns these gears on the inside here, and then those gears will eventually drive some knob gears on each side. Those knob gears are what are responsible for actually moving the legs. So when this crab rolls side to side, the legs scuttle, and they do so opposite each other as well, just because of the nature of these types of gears. It is honestly perfect for this type of creature, and I am so happy with how this one came out. The Anole is also a really good one, and this entire build is 249, so 250 pieces, and it's honestly, it's so lovely. I'm so happy with how it came out. And the nice thing about the Anole too is that even though it's not the focus of this build, it still looks respectable as the creature it is trying to portray, and also it has its own running function. So I'll show you the builds that inspired these very quickly, because they're right in front of me here, including this little guy right here, which has the 8 legs. And yes, I know that one is dangling because I didn't have enough pieces to finish that side, but you get the idea here, right? So you can see all 8 legs are kind of moving around. In the version on studio, I actually built up the very front leg a little bit more to prevent that droop that you see here, but it works out really well, and I just wanted to test to make sure that that 8th leg was a possibility, and turns out it is. Along with that, we of course have that lizard build, which my version is just based on my Bionicle project that I was working on, but it does the same thing here, right? It's got the little claws on the feet here that kind of roll around, and if you were to change these side wheels out for the pulley wheels, as is featured on the back of the crab here, it would actually rock back and forth slightly as it runs as well, which I think is super adorable. And so, yeah, I'm very happy with both of these. Honestly, once it goes live, I will put out a video. I'll put out a short just directing you all over there. Go ahead and check it out. It is free. Just log in, place your support, vote, whatever it's called, and that's it. And all we have to do is hit 10,000. And with as many views as we get on these videos, if all of us do it, which Maybe, you never know. You know, it's a crab build, and I'm so happy for it. So, moving on to the next one though, wanted to chat a little bit about Generation 2 masks for your McDonald's Matoran, because I love to use them as noble masks. This is a Jollar set here right here, so this is what they normally would look like, and I see them kind of as noble masks depending on the type of mask you're using. Right now, the neck looks a little weird here just because of the shaping of this mask, but it's actually the exact same height, and I also have a method for actually lowering the head if you want to give it more of a hunched back, which is always cool. But this can allow you to kind of tilt the head, and it is on a ball joint as well, meaning that you have all of the articulation that a ball joint gives you, which is also very nice. I think that the best masks for this are probably the Generation 2 Onua mask, the Bakari, which it's not called that in Gen 2, but you get the point, and the Gen 2 Kakama, right? Both of these are masks that exist in colors that the feet exist in, dark orange, black, in McDonald's Matoran colors, Hafu and Huki, respectively, or Tapua? What is his name? Oh no, it's on the, anyway, you get my point. But yeah, so really happy with how this one works out. And if you wanted to actually give it the hunchback, then all you have to do is actually just remove this connection here and replace it with a pin axle in that ball joint, and then just rotate the ball joint back so that the pin axle comes off of the back side, and you can just attach that to the axle or to the pinhole in the front of the torso here, right? And so it's a really lovely little build that gives you the hunched back appearance, which is something you can't normally do with these bodies, or I'm sure you can with your own parts, but yeah, I love it. I'm so happy with it. And so yeah, it gives you a little bit of extra use. And also, if you are curious about that eye stalk there, if you saw it just a minute ago, that is a custom piece from Zion Tyros, or I hope I pronounced that right. I don't know. I'm so sorry. But yeah, they're super cheap. You should really go out and buy one. They're like 25 cents. I'm not sponsored or anything either, and they didn't ask me to do this, but I love their service. So preach, right? Without further ado, let's get into the Sandstorm. This is the vehicle that I made and featured yesterday, and then, as I do notoriously, changed it up after the video, but it looks so much better. It's so much more patched up in the back here. The Borak windscreens were really cool, but they didn't hide anything. They just kind of sat there for the intention of sitting there. Now I have these sort of exhaust pipe pieces, and if I actually change the length of those axles, I can stick some little orange cone pieces on there as like flames if you want, or even gray or whatever color you want, right? So it just looks so much more like clean on the back end. This does limit the rear suspension even more now, so that's basically all the movement you get out of it, but it's already so low to the ground, I don't really mind it, honestly. I didn't build it with the intention of adding suspension either. It was more of an afterthought anyway. Same thing in the front here, adding these panels to give it headlights on the sides here was really cool, but also kind of interacts with that suspension system in the front too. So in this case, it's actually better though, because now it doesn't hit the Thornax launcher, which can now move, by the way. So that is attached to a ball joint, so it can actually turn both ways. It does not turn this top assembly here, and there's no steering yet still, but if I'm able to fit steering in here, you know I'm making another video. With that said though, lastly, the kickstand here now has some pieces in the front and back here to kind of lock it in place when it is rotated, so that it doesn't just accidentally move. It is still on a ball joint. You can move it yourself, but it helps to just kind of lock it in alignment there. And that way, when you're rolling it across the ground, it's not going to bottom out as easily, which is all nice stuff. So really happy with how that one came out. If you want to see more about that build, check out that last video, even if it is with the saddlebags, if you will. And yeah, so next, I wanted to talk about the interview with Pokora Morgan. I had planned on doing something like this, sort of introducing this interview with a mockist in the past, but I didn't plan on doing it till much later in the future. However, they have a live stream coming up this Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern time, if I remember correctly. Check out the video for that. And it is the Great Spirit for Gaza, which is a fantastic idea. I don't know why I never think of doing like charity stuff. I guess I just don't have the following or the mentality of it. I have no idea. But suffice to say, they're doing a live stream where they're actually going to be raising money for donations to like medical aid and things like that. Again, we cover it in the video. They explain it far better than I can anyway. And I don't want to get any details wrong. So check out that interview video. It was a lot of fun. We literally could have talked for like hours, honestly. But I knew I had to end it at some point because I had to get the video out for you all to see too. And speaking of video, analytics, things like that. Something I've learned that might help you guys out is So lately, I've gotten into this sort of structure for the channel of putting out 3 videos per day and 1 short. Turns out not a great idea for the channel anyway. Obviously not a great idea in terms of like burnout and stuff too, but it was working well. It worked well with my schedule. And what I learned was actually the problem with the shorts specifically. The shorts do really well at getting like subscribers and things like that, which is always good, sure. But obviously there are different audience that stuff is catered towards. And what I learned was that I want to focus my attention right now mostly on videos, like long form videos, because shorts, let's be honest, if you're into YouTube for monetization, which I am currently monetized now, although not technically monetized until I hit the 4,000 hours on YouTube side. We already surpassed it, but YouTube side is about a week behind. And so if you were to monetize your channel, then watch hours and things like that really matter, and views and stuff really matter. Well, watch hours matter up to a point. Views matter though, right? Because that's kind of how your payment is gauged. And so views on shorts are very different from views on long form videos in terms of how much you would get like paid. And so what I learned was that when I was putting out these short videos, it was affecting the views on my long form videos. And when I looked online, a lot of people told me that that wasn't the case, right? That they have no effect on each other. But a YouTube rep specifically said actually they do. More specifically, your shorts, how well they do is gauged based on the previous videos and vice versa, right? And so YouTube just treats all of them as videos, essentially, when it comes to analytical purposes. There are differences, of course, and they go much deeper than this. But for what matters to you, essentially, I was putting out a short every day, and each of those shorts was getting well over 1,000 views. And so that seemed helpful, but I noticed as I was putting these shorts out, the rest of the views on my channel was going down. It was because those shorts were doing so well that it was then affecting the rest of my channel, right? Because people who come here to watch long form content aren't the same audience as people who are watching short form content, but the analytics was being judged as though they were the same audience, if that makes sense. And so because of that, from what I understand, if the short performed well, but then the video didn't perform well in terms of that standard, right? Didn't get 1,000 or 2,000 or 5,000 views or whatever, then YouTube would pull the impressions down on other videos of that type. So because my shorts were getting several thousand views, the videos were lessening. So yesterday I opted not to put out any shorts, just did the 2 videos, and our video views went up for the first time in a while, which I'm very happy about. Currently that's what I'm focused on right now, because if I want to turn this channel into something, I don't expect, first of all, this to be, any substantial amount of monetization, right? But I do take care of my mom at home, and so any bit helps, of course. And with that, I have to focus as much as possible on the videos, because they are what is going to pay more right now, because I don't put out videos that get millions of views. And you really don't make like a substantial amount of money on shorts until you're getting like tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, even millions of views or more, because the amount you get paid is far less than what you get paid for the same amount of views on a video. Does that make sense? So there's obviously other factors and stuff involved, and this is a very basic sort of summary of all of this, but that's kind of why I'm doing it. So I will still be putting out shorts, of course, because I enjoy making them. And, it's something that does help the channel out in the long run. It helps to get subscribers and things like that. But if it affects the long form videos, it basically YouTube wants you to do kind of one or the other as a small channel. And that's just not a reality for me right now. And so I'm going to try and save the shorts for really important stuff best I can, but try at least putting out maybe 1 or 2 per week. Wherever possible, letting the videos kind of shine on their own, and yeah, just seeing how it goes from there. But that is pretty much it for this video. If you guys did enjoy the video, make sure you are subscribed and like, because it really does help the channel out a lot. And of course, as always, you can check out my Discord, Instagram, and Patreon if you want to support the channel and get some perks, which will be found all in the description below. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So let me know in the comments which of these things that we talked about today that you like most, or if you have used, Gen 2 masks on builds. Hey, show them off, right? So I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.